I'm still very pleased with the win, and go back and watch the tape. We did a lot of good things. I mean, we did. I think what I'm most proud of, and I said it after the game, was to go back to our 6 wins this year. Hey Charles, good morning. You go back to our 6 wins, and Chattanooga, we had the lead, the whole game, right? Central Arkansas, we had the lead, until they had a chance to kick the field goal, and we blocked it. But this is a game we were down by 14. Okay, in the first quarter, things wasn't really going right. Tied at half, and we held it together, kind of stayed the course, and coaches kept coaching, players kept playing, and got the lead, and then continued to add to it. So very pleased with that, really am.
What was going through your mind when y'all was down 14 points?
Well, obviously not good, but you look up there and there's a lot of there's a lot of time left on that clock. How would we respond? And then we put a couple first downs together, and then all of a sudden you get obviously a lot more relief once we got the first score, made it 14-7. And so, but yeah, I mean, you're sitting there looking. Didn't want to get it to a game to where we were going to have to be all for row, because then you make any defense any better. And they're 3 down, so they can obviously rush 3, drop 8, and that's what they wanted to do, and then we couldn't let them do that.
When y'all came back and tied it, was you thinking, oh no, here we go again, just like last year's game?
Yeah, no, not necessarily. Like I said, they're not built like that, and we're not built like that. So you knew it was going to be, it was going to be a touchdown either way, unless some turnovers happened, and that was what it did. But like I said, I was real proud we were able to have a lot of muddy runs. What I mean by that is, I think the biggest run we had was Neil's scramble, okay, and I think 12 yards, like our biggest run. So to be able to stay on course, get it to 2nd and 7s, and that game was crucial to us, because then you could go run or pass. And there's a lot of muddy runs that resulted 3 runs in a row equals some first downs, or a run and then a pass. So I think we kept our opponent guessing, and especially in that being on that 3rd quarter, really did a good job.
What was the emotion of your team in the locker room after that win?
It was good. Like I said, there's some games where. Not so much because of the opponent, but more because of the way we won. I think so. I think the offensive line had a little bit of, felt good about themselves, that they were physical at the point of attack. The defense, gave up 10 points. I mean, the 7 points from the offense, the turnover in the end zone. So, I mean, they had to feel good about that, and to hold that quality receiver down to whatever few catches it was, to get the 5.5, whatever, 6 sacks they had, to get the turnovers. That was something the defense had been struggling to do, and to be able to do that, there's a lot of self-satisfaction in that win, and it kept you alive too. Now it kept you alive, to the EKU. I mean, this game this week is it's a big game, it's a big opportunity for us, but from a conference standpoint, it keeps you alive, for another week. So you'll be going into week 11. Still with a chance to control some opportunities out there.
Coach, I want to ask you about this Memphis game. Obviously we've talked a little bit about the possibilities of the at-large into the playoffs, especially with the larger field. If you all were to win this game, or be very competitive, can that help you? Do you think
Right.
when they're looking at teams?
Yeah, well, I say it like this. It doesn't hurt you, but I can't promise you that it helps you, because we got a win on our resume from last year. And we sat at home that week, so obviously there's no guarantee or anything like that. It has no bearing on how we practice or anything like that. You're trying to go and win and play, and if that result helps you, it'd be great. But that was didn't help us any last year, so disappointing.
So beating Eastern Kentucky and Eastern Illinois the last 2 games of the season, that will probably give y'all more help than beating Memphis.
No doubt about it, because now you're 6-2 in the conference, and whatever happens with the other deals, and which we don't control all that. But no, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You lose you lose East Kentucky, and then then you're out of you got 3 conference losses, so that'd be very difficult. Now something you play well this week, and somehow find a way, and then beat Eastern Illinois. What did that put you at, 7-5? Can't do my math there. No, I get you 2 more wins. You're just 5-3 in the league, but at least you're in some conversation. So it probably shakes out. I mean, we can sit here and probably talk for an hour based on what happens in other conferences. I don't think Southern Conference is as strong this year as it's been in the past. Obviously, look at those numbers, or maybe it is strong. It's just the other team, the teams in the bottom now are beating the teams at the top, and then you got Georgia Southern happy that aren't eligible this year. So that certainly, throws a wrench in the conversation as well.
Does it concern you, Coach, having to play an out-of-conference game here in the middle of the season like this?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, you'd rather have these games at the top. I mean, you certainly would, because there's, the last two games control your playoff destiny, and you're going to have bumps and bruises no matter how it goes going to the last 2 weeks. So I don't spend a whole lot of minutes thinking about it, but it's not the perfect scenario for sure.
Well, Memphis sports writers and newspaper people are spending a lot of time talking about. I think the Martin game's really been on their radar for some time after last year. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I guess that's a little bit of a compliment, but they're guys. You look at their record is they're a good football team on defense. I mean, you guys are 346 yards. I think I looked at it today. There's 6 losses. I know for sure 4, maybe 5 of them, the teams are already bowl eligible that they're playing. I'm not sure about SMU. I know MTSU has got 5 wins now. So, I mean, there's 4 or 5 of those teams that are already bowl eligible. By them moving up, Conference USA to the American Conference, and they're playing, quality teams. Cincinnati and SMU's and Central Florida teams have got some big wins this year, and I see, and we saw Memphis the first game of the year, and I know what they did at the end of the year, and obviously they continue to get better, especially defensively. But Coach Fuente is the record will come for him. I mean, he knows it. Us that are in this profession, we know it as well because I see it on tape, and they're getting better. Do a great job on defense.
You see any potential matchups that may come into y'all's favor Saturday?
No, and there wasn't any last year. I mean, there wasn't. I mean, you go in that game. I watched that game again last night, and we had an experienced quarterback. Yeah, we had a free agent wide receiver, but he had, I think, 3 or 4 drops in the game. But he did have a big touchdown catch for us and a couple of good catches. So, no, it's one of those games last year to where it's kind of like you go back to your high school days, right? When you start saying you did this and you did that, right? And you go back and watch the tapes and you say, I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And that game's the same way. I think we had some decent amount of yards, but nothing was clean. We were very fortunate. They had some penalties, some costly turnovers, and I know we missed some field goals and that hurt us as well. But no, we were very fortunate. And our game against them last year compared to what watching their games this year has been kind of similar from the standpoint. Nothing's clean against their defense. I mean, there's tackles for losses, there's sacks, there's interceptions. You're not going to line up in one thing and run the ball against them. You're not going to throw the ball every down against them. You just got to try to get a few first downs and hope the field gets flipped on you.
One of the big storylines for them was just the fact they started a freshman quarterback this year when not a lot of people expected it. They were right before the season. Right. How would you kind of assess what you know of him?
He's talented. I hadn't studied his stats or anything, but of course I caught a little bit of that game last Wednesday, and he got his talent. He's tall, but he can run, and he can get out of some trouble. Extremely strong arm. That's something I'm sure they're very excited about. For their future, their program's future. So. And that doesn't help us. They get a Wednesday night game with a couple of extra days of rest and prep and stuff like that. But that's how the things shook out this year.
What kind of mentality are your guys going to take into this Memphis game?
I hope. I won't say confidence is a word. That's not necessarily the right word. But they. First of all, I gave them the day off. We have a tired football team, and normally we would have everybody there tonight and stuff. But I cut them a deal last week, and I think it's well deserved. So. Coaches keep working and prepping and recruiting, and then the players will be in tomorrow the first time we see them, and then we'll get going on Tuesday. So I would assume they'll be rested. I hope they're excited. I'm sure they will be, and waiting for a game plan to give them, and we'll prep and go play Saturday.
Does it mean especially anything to some of your guys who are from the Memphis area, do you think?
I'm sure it will be. I mean, it's DJ McNeil, Kevin Barfield, Tony Bales, even though he's a junior, but we don't play Memphis next year, so this will be his last opportunity to go and play in that Liberty Bowl stadium. So I hope it's special to them. Maybe the ball will bounce up in their hands a couple times and make some plays.
Can you give us a comment about Tony being the OVC defensive player?
Very proud of Tony. Now those sacks, and take no credit away from Tony, they came in a little bit different way. I mean, several of them were, he was not necessarily rushing. He was not lined up and rushing off the edge and beat the tackle. Some of them were, and I'm sure he'll tell you this too, there was great coverage on the back end, and the quarterback would step up and was trying to buy some time, and then Tony would come out of his coverage and pursue the quarterback and get him behind the line of scrimmage. And so, but they all count. It's just it's like inside the park home runs compared to over the fence, right? They all count at the end of the year. And so Tony's been solid for us all year. The guy, he could play. He got great nose to the ball. Ben Johnson kind of gets most of the publicity. The way our defense was set up this week, Ben was more, he had some different responsibilities to do, and based on how our opponent was trying to attack us, Tony was the plays were coming back to him this week, and then he made them to make. I was talking to Coach Hankins before came over here, and on his count, his linebacker coach, he gave him, he thought he was in almost 20 tackles, compared to 16 and a half. So, but regardless, he was very excited about it, and it's a good credit for Tony.
Jared, a big game too, didn't he?
He did. Very proud of Jared. To bounce to be able to handle. Jared played with a lot of confidence. Made some throws. I mean, there's some mistakes there, but took care of the football and gave us a chance, hit some open guys. When we can run the ball and give Jared an opportunity to set his feet and stuff in our protection, I mean, he's in well. I saw yesterday. I think he's completing almost 64% of his passes. His last couple of starts, over 200-something yards each game. So, no, he's progressing nicely. And as far as Dylan's concerned, I mean, that was a poor call on my part to ask him to run, an option. Now, he didn't execute it very well, and he'll be the first one to tell you, but that was kind of a high-risk, high-reward deal. It's been 3 weeks since he's had any contact. That was actually, he missed 3 games, so that was almost a month, right, since he's been hit. And I think his first run, he had like 9-10-yard run. Got hit pretty good. His contact came out and stuff, so it's good to get those cobwebs out. But I wasn't discouraged with how Dylan was playing. They didn't like the turnover, but the depth took the point that Jared kind of got in the rhythm, and we just kept going that direction. But Dylan will play this week as well.
When y'all leave?
We won't go to Saturday.
Saturday?
It's just as easy to. It's a 3:30 game, so it's just as easy to. The police escorts do a great job picking us up right there at the city limits and getting us in and out. So that's what we did last year. So we'll do the same thing this year.
Jerry going to work on his quick kicks a little bit this week?
Oh, that was awful, wasn't it? You know what? And go back and watching it. Our protection wasn't very good either. We had a tackle in the back, kind of kicked it in the backfield, and I know he saw him kind of in the corner of his eye, and he kind of changed the trajectory of his leg swing, and that wasn't that. We've struggled with that this year. We'll probably have to can that. Carr was pretty good at it. I think the last time we had like a negative kick like that was against Auburn about 5 years ago. So we may have to find a new strategy.
On a side note, Montori got in on his first action,
Did
so
he?
that's good to have just a player that gives you a little bit more notoriety, and you can be proud of Montori for getting in on action last night.
I didn't realize that. I came in last night, and of course my kids were watching the Colts because they know that's who Montori's playing for, and I didn't realize that he was activated. So I can see that. No, very proud of that. That's awesome for him and our program. So good to hear that. And they came back and got the win. So good. His first game got a win. Matter of fact, somebody showed me something Saturday morning that was on, I guess, the Jimmy Fallon show. You have to pull it up, Ryan, and see. It was somebody tweeted it. One of our coaches had it, and it was Jimmy Fallon was telling the joke. And he says, "This is the person in the NFL who cares the least about something that had happened out in the news," and it was a picture of Montori. He didn't know Montori from anybody. It was just a picture of Montori's head. It was taking up the whole frame and stuff. So it's kind of funny. I wish I had it. I'd send it to him.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Blake.